Okay, so welcome back to Miss Curtis's art class. I have a fun lesson for you today. We are going to be making a building. So this can either be a house or an apartment complex. Today I am going to draw a larger 3-story apartment complex. And at the end, once this picture is complete, it's actually pretty fun if you cut open your windows and you put a piece of paper underneath. You can draw scenes inside the different windows, different apartments. So maybe there's different people, characters, and we can get to designing that as well. Okay, so what you'll need for this project is something to draw with, and if you have coloring materials, that's great. Today I'm going to teach you how to use the paint. I'm going to be painting in my building these 3 colors. And like I said, you can just use the coloring materials if that's what you have, whether it's markers, crayons, or colored pencils. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make your frame and name. So I am going to have my picture in the portrait mode, which means that the taller part of the paper is going up and down. Because again, this building is going to be tall. I want it to be in this direction. All right. So I have some paper underneath of my paper just because I don't want the paper to bleed through onto the table. Okay, so hold your paper tight and simply pull your drawing utensil along the edge of the paper, leaving just a little bit of space. I'm rotating my paper. And always, like I said, if you have trouble making a straight line, you can always make a curvy, squiggly line. Okay, so now I have my frame. Turning my paper back to portrait mode. At the bottom right, I'm going to write my first and last name and homeroom number. So I would like you to do the same. So I'm going to write Miss Curtis and homeroom number 225. Okay. All right, now I am ready to go. So if you wanted to, you can use a straight edge. When I say straight edge, that means a ruler. And I have one right here. So if you want your building to come out really straight, you can use a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, that's okay. You can always just freehand this. All right, so I will use a ruler today just to show you how this works. The first thing we're gonna do is make a ground line. So I'm just gonna leave about a couple inches at the bottom for the ground, and I'm going to make a straight line going across. And if you are using a ruler or a straight edge, make sure you hold it nice and tight so it doesn't move on you. Okay, now the next step is I am going to be making this building have a straight line going up this way, across and down. I'm going to show you how that looks as well. And again, my building's pretty tall because it's going to be an apartment. And if you ever notice, some of the buildings in downtown Buffalo, or really in many different cities, have some neat colors to them. So especially a lot of the historic buildings, and that's why I picked such fun colors today. Okay, so these 2 lines are parallel. So go ahead and make 2 straight lines that are going up for your building around the same length. And if it's not exactly the same, you can adjust it after. The next step is you're going to make a straight line going across. And again, notice that this line was a little shorter than this one. So I'm just going to take my marker and kind of connect that right there. All right, so now I've got a big rectangle on my paper. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to make the roof. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull my ruler down, and again, if you're freehanding, we're just gonna leave a little bit of space. Right here for me, it's about 2 inches. And I am going to make a straight line to the best of my ability going across right here. Okay, so this is the roof. Again, another rectangle shape. Inside of this rectangle shape, I am going to make some details to my roof. So my roof is actually going to have a triangle that's on the left side right here. So what I'm going to do is take my ruler and angle it. Pull my marker, make that angled line right there. That looks just about to be a 45-degree angle. So I'm sure a lot of you are learning this stuff in math class. So now I just wanted to have a little peak. And the peak is this triangle shape right here. The next thing I'm going to do for some details is I'm going to make some straight lines that are parallel just going across. And this is going to act as shingles on the roof. So I'm going to hold my ruler tight and make some straight lines going across. Roofs are really important structural elements to a house because they protect us from water coming in, rain or snow, different elements. And that's why over time you have to have them replaced. They're pretty expensive to have replaced as well. Okay, so there we have our roof to our building. Pretty cool. Okay, the next step to making this building is I'm going to make a entryway or a door down here at the bottom left. And this is again going to be a triangle shape. So I'm gonna hold my ruler. It's not gonna be too big because I wanna be able to fit some other stuff here. And I'm going to make a line that goes straight across. Awesome, I have a door. Now this door is going to need something to help us open it, right? So what would that be? A doorknob. So I'm going to make a circle. I'm just going to freehand that right there. And now I have a doorknob. The next thing I'm going to do is make some windows. I'm going to have 2 here, and then I'm going to have 1 above the door, so 3 going across, and another 3. So that will give me a total of 8 windows. So I'm going to use my ruler, and if you're freehanding it, that's fine. You can also, at the end, do some details. You can put some bushes in front of the windows down here, whatever you'd like to do. So I'm going to make a straight line there, right here. This is more of a square shape. Another window right here. Notice I made that the window, the line for the top of the window to align with the top of the door. Did that on purpose. Just makes the building look a little cleaner and more geometric, okay? So now the next thing I'm gonna do is the 3 windows and 3 windows here. So I'm gonna speed this up. I'm going to finish my windows. I also am going to put some window panes on the inside, so these lines that just make a cross right here. Okay, so you'll wanna do that too. I mean, I guess if you want, you can even add some shutters after. Houses, apartments, basically any architectural element, so much fun. You can add different things. You could put a chimney. If you want after, you could actually draw in your own bricks and make your building a brick building. That would be really cool. Or you could do like a few bricks coming out and like a few just as like some accent details. I can show you. So you would just kind of make, and bricks are, I would prefer that you do them freehand because they do have these jagged edges. And then the way that bricks lay is they are just like so. So they're staggered. So this one right here would start in the middle of these 2 and then go across. Pretty cool, right? All right, so that's up to you though, how you want to design your building. You can make a walkway here. In fact, I'll do that right now just to show you. Maybe it goes something like this with some curving lines. so people can walk up to the building. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna speed this up and I'm gonna show you how this looks, and then I'm gonna teach you how to add color. And today I am going to paint mine in, and you can do the same if you want. All right, so there's my building, and if I wanted to add any details, I can. And like I said, after I could help, or you could use a pair of scissors, I actually have X-Acto knives that help cut these windows. If you wanted to have them open, or maybe even from the bottom, and just people could pull them up and see who's inside, which is pretty fun. Or you can cut it right here and here and here, and then it opens like a, kind of like this. So that's up to you. And like I said, other details, you want to put flowers and things in front, but let's get started where I can show you how to add color. So I have tinfoil here. If you have a palette, so I'm not using the palette that I have right now just because it's pretty dirty. So I'm just using a little bit of tinfoil. That's what you're going to be using then to put your paints on. So I'm going to start with the color green. And I'm simply using an acrylic paint here. Tempera or even watercolor, anything would work great. I'm going to paint my building green. I'm going to have the door orange and my roof purple. Okay, I'm going to try my best to stain the lines. I'm simply just going to pull my brush and make these nice strokes going across. Sometimes I flip my brush as well, so you can see that I had some extra paint on the other side before I go in and try and get more. Be very careful when you approach other lines. You don't want to go outside the lines and cover them. If you do though, you can always go back with either your marker or some black paint and you can fix it after. So I am using super fun colors today and I'm excited about that. Going around. And I'm using the tip in areas that are really tight, like in here. Kind of like a pencil now at this point, I'm holding it. So the closer you hold it like this, like a pencil, the more control you'll have for smaller areas or tighter areas. And painting just takes practice. The first time you do it, you might find that you feel like you're making a lot of mistakes. Don't worry about it, just take your time. And like I said, if you're using color materials, that's fine too. So I'm going to speed this up. And don't forget that when you're washing your colors, so before I do that, let's say I want to switch from green, rinse your brush really good, scrub the bottom of the container that you're using, and already it looks pretty clean. And then just wipe it off on the edge, check to see that it comes out clear with the water on your paper towel, and then you're good to go switch to the next color. Since I'm using acrylics, I really want to get a lot of the water off. I don't want this paint to be watery. Okay, so I'm gonna speed this up. Can't wait to see how yours come out. Okay, so that is how you paint in your building. At the last minute, I actually chose to make the stripe. I want to make a little pattern here, and I did a blue. So it looks a little dark in the video, but it's actually a really nice royal bright blue here. So again, fun colors, have fun with it. And these are some of the colors you might see on some buildings that are downtown, more historic. And then I would finish drawing some different things, maybe again a chimney or something in the background, maybe a welcome mat. You can be as creative as you want. I can't wait to see it. And once this would dry, I would again cut open at the top here this line here and then this middle one so that the windows could open. Put a piece of paper underneath that you can glue there, and then you can have some characters drawn inside. So yeah, when this dries, I could show you that. And I can't wait to see how yours come out. I know this is gonna be an awesome project. So with that being said, I will see you next class. Okay, so like I said, you could use scissors. These aren't the best ones. You would use, you know, your school safety scissors. But I would show you how to cut this open. So you want to very carefully bend this. And again, my paper is not dry, but we are going to attempt this right now. And I would cut right this line right here if the paper is folded in half. So I'm going to do that right now. So I made a little opening right there. Okay, and with that opening, I'm going to take my scissors and very carefully go around. Now I just want to cut this line right here, this middle line as well, so I'm going to go back down. And this line over here. Okay, so now I have one, gotta be careful, this is wet, one window that will open. Oh, we can see the brick pattern underneath. Let me move that out of the way. So we got one window that opens, which is so cool, right? And then on the other side, since we already have an opening there, it's gonna be pretty easy to cut this. I'm just cutting right here. And right here. And you can experiment other ways to open your window. Like I said, if you just did this line right here, the bottom one, and this, the window would flap open that way. Just be careful not to cut out the whole thing. You won't have a window flap to open anymore. So I'm gonna just open it like so. Okay, so now that window opens. I'm gonna put this clean piece of paper underneath. And if I just simply put some glue around the edge, just maybe a dot top, dot bottom, depending on what you're using, or a glue stick just around the edge, I could adhere it to another piece of paper and I can draw some characters inside. So maybe inside here is a family, or maybe there's a pet, like a little cat at the window. What's the story? What's going on in your building or in your house? Who lives there? Is it you and your family? Is it an apartment where there's different interesting people that live inside? Maybe there's a chef that lives here, and maybe there is a teacher that lives in this building with her family. You can make up stories, which will be a fun writing element. I'd love to have you guys write a story based on who lives in each apartment or in the house. So like I said, that's how you cut open the windows. And this time, yes, I will see you next class. I look forward to seeing your buildings.